Hi, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Something Else podcast. I have my guests here.
Okay, my name is Rebekah.
And I'm James.
And today we are getting into a conversation about navigating life in your 20s. If you're 30 something, stay tuned. We got that in the works. Still working on a cast. But that's what we're going to be talking about today. And before we get into that, you guys already know it's the affirmation of the week. So let's see what we got here. I freely express myself and this brings me joy.
As you should.
I love it.
As you should.
Okay, so I think this is a really good conversation to have because navigating your 20s is literally like feeling around in the dark. Like, I said this in one of my other episodes, and I was like, if you're younger than 20 and you're trying to rush to like grow up,
Please stop.
don't do it.
Don't even.
Take your time.
We all grew up wanting to be adults so quick. And now I want to go back.
I wish I could go back
I want to go
a
back.
little bit. Just
Probably like,
tad.
Like, there's so much to do and so much to, like, honestly, and I think other people can relate to this, and I think it's a problem with social media, like, it makes you feel like you're not doing enough. Like, I'm like, why am I not driving a Lambo today? The Toyota's tired. Like, let's pack it up swiftly today. But
So true.
I think everyone is just, like, in their own process.
yeah.
Yeah. It's really like social media has like a strong impact because it's what you see probably almost every day. You're
Yeah.
scrolling every day. The first thing you do in the morning, you're waking up like, all right, let me see what's going on today. This is the news, and it's like everybody traveling, going here, there, buying this, that, have this amount of followers. And sometimes, like it gets discouraging because you're like, I'm not even there yet. So what am I doing with my life? And you actually are doing a lot, than you give yourself credit for.
Yeah. People forget that everyone have their own path. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
what you might be doing and what she might be doing is completely different from me. Yes, some things might align similar, but everybody got their own unique path in life, and you got to trust that, because if you get caught up too much in dwelling on what you see others doing, especially celebrity on the timing they be on, like 1 minute they're this, 1 minute they're that, you will be confused, you'll be depressed. So you got to just trust and believe in your own unique time of life, and trust God. Let him do his thing. Let him operate in your life as that's supposed to happen. So
For
that's
sure.
really what it is.
Yeah, no. I can definitely relate to that because I always say everyone is on their own journey, and your journey is not going to look like someone else's journey. Their journey is not going to look like your journey. So why are you rushing?
Where you
Like,
going?
and me, I'm going to be 24 this year, and I'm like, 24? And it's so funny because when I was younger, I used to be like, okay, 25, I'm going to be married, I'm going to have kids. I have a house. This is so great. White picket fence with a dog named Fido. I was so excited.
Fido.
And my dog's name is Miami, and I'm about to be 24 this year, and no man, no kids, and I'm just like, okay,
I mean, get a name change. Process, get a name change.
listen.
Well, I feel, but that's the thing with life. It's like, and like this year taught me like not to plan too much ahead, because something can just change so
Sure.
quickly. And I was normally the type of person, like, I want to plan this, I want to plan that. Okay, by this amount of months, I want to have this accomplished. Whether it's in school or social life or just a personal project in general. But as life taught me, as time goes on, you really can't dwell on much of planning, because today all is well, tomorrow your whole life is just horrible. So it's, you got to take it. I try to just take it a day at a time. Like, when people ask, how's things, this, that, I'm like, honestly, I'm just taking it one day at a time, because I can't guarantee to you or to myself that tomorrow is going to be great. I can just control what day it is now, what I'm going on with currently. I can't tell you that, oh, yeah, 2 weeks from now, yeah, man, I'm going to be up, I'm going to be living it up, I'm going to be great. It's not like that, and I learned that the hard way. So take it a day at a time.
Yeah.
That's really important to
Yeah, I feel
take it
that.
one day at a time, because emotions are like just like life, you know, like you can feel things really hard at one moment, then the next minute you're like, I ain't gonna lie, it is what it is, you know, like, because I do that a lot. Like sometimes, like one day I'll be like, man, forget life, like right now it's tripping, like I'm not feeling it right now, I'm not dealing with it right now, like it's just being mean to me. And you know, the next day I'll be like, you know what, life is good, it's great, you know. And then people probably look at me like, ain't you the same girl that was just crying and panicking about your situation? I'm like, yeah, well, you know, I cry and panic first, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be okay, you know. And I try to hold on to that, like, at the end of the day, it's gonna be okay. And it's hard sometimes to think like that, because life can really knock you somewhere, like really flick you, like, okay, gone somewhere, you know. And you know, just you just really do have to take it one day at a time. So I agree with that.
Yeah, that's really what it is. Honestly, when you're younger, it seems like you don't have a true concept of the difficulties that, like, how difficult life can be sometimes. Like, I remember even when I was in high school, and it's so crazy because you would be in high school and you like, oh, I know better. Like, you know, you're becoming. First of all, the frontal lobe isn't even fully developed. There we have it. Minus
real.
10 points already. The frontal lobe isn't even fully developed.
Yeah.
And now my frontal lobe is starting to fully develop. I think what stops developing at 25?
I think so.
I don't know how true that is.
Scientifically.
But just know it's touching the front of the skull almost. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you telling me the light bill, the phone bill, the rent,
Bill.
the car insurance, all coming out on the 15th? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
I need a breather. Hold on. Life got hands.
Yeah, that's what it is when, like, before, like I was saying to Gabby earlier, like when we were younger or before we're in situations we are now, you know, you kind of have like you have that freedom where, you know, I could do this, I could let this stay till tomorrow, I can entertain, you know, not having to rush to the responsibility right there and then, because, you know, that's just how it was when you're younger. But now everyone is at the stage where, yeah, you can't afford to play with your time. Really, you can't play with your time, because every day you look at it, you're like, yo, it's Friday already. Okay, it's Monday already. It's like time is not waiting on nobody. So whatever it is you have to do, whatever it is you know you have to take care of, go ahead and do it now.
Get it done.
You know how crazy that is? Like,
It's-
no, like,
Something is always to be done.
It's-
You don't really, like, if you're literally just sitting there scrolling on your phone, you're procrastinating on
You are.
something. You know,
That's
like
the
you're just
effect
sitting
of
there not
social
doing
media.
anything.
Yeah.
You know, and that feeling, that work. What is this? Rihanna, work. I mean, it's hard. Like sometimes I really don't even feel like getting out of bed. Like, why the work can't come get me? Like,
that's too funny.
Why the bag can't chase you?
like, you know,
I feel that.
it's hard sometimes.
I
Like,
feel that. When you have like, and I realize this too, like when you have certain responsibilities.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, me and James, this is another thing we was
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
Like when you have certain responsibilities, you cannot afford not to work.
yeah.
There's no, oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss out today.
Yeah.
Like
I'm gonna just chill today. You
I'm
know?
not gonna go to work.
Then the bag ain't calculating to what it's supposed to calculate to.
That's really what
for
it
you to
is.
plan out, okay, this need to be paid, this need to be
Exactly.
paid out of this one check. So that mean,
You,
oh, I gotta go to work every day. Like, there's no call out sick, there's no go in late, there's only go in early, get some more hours, like something.
Yeah,
Always.
and it's like, I feel like, you know, growing up, I mean, I can't probably not speak for everyone, but you don't really necessarily have that blueprint per se of, yeah, when you get to a certain age, it's going to be chaos. When you get to a certain age, you're going to have to start doing this, you're going to have to start doing that to maintain, you know, not even necessarily to get to where you want to be, but just to maintain a solid life, you know. And then once you get to a certain point in life, you have to seek out that balance. You don't want to just work. I don't want to be like how, you know, I saw my parents work, barely could do this, how I even see family members doing now. And you do that, your whole life is just work. And where do you enjoy?
Exactly.
Where do you enjoy your family, enjoy loved ones? Where do you get to, enjoy the essence of life, just being able to have life? And that is something that I always think of. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I understand that we live in a world that we have to work and able to, survive and maintain. But you also want to find that balance in life for everything.
Yeah.
You want to find that balance because you would definitely get corrupt.
That's something that I see with Caribbean people a lot.
Yeah,
They
it's
have no they have no like compass of let's just chill.
No.
Like you always have to be working. If you want work, work, work. My mom used to tell me when I was growing up, she used to be like, would you rather me work and have money or go and have a good time and have no money? And I'm like, first of all, we could have had some money and had fun.
Hello.
they don't
It could
believe
have been a balance.
they don't. I don't know if it's like they don't believe in. I don't even know how to put it. I feel like it's not necessarily like a belief in like, oh, relax and have fun.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just the mentality of where our grandparents and our grandparents, like, you just see a generation that's just working, 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 and you just following that same trend. For me, I don't want to just be working, working, working. I want to be able to be like, all right, hey, I'm gonna take a trip next month. I'm gonna take a road trip, something. I don't want to have everything in life is just I gotta work, I gotta work, I gotta work, I gotta work. I try to find a balance in everything I do. Yes, it is important. Don't listen and think that I'm saying not to take care of your business.
Go to work.
Take care of your business. Make sure your bills are paid. Don't get kicked out. But with life, you don't want to be under that umbrella of just all my life is work. You want to be able to have that balance of, go, enjoy life a little bit, because if you get consumed by that, my life is just work, you're going to be, it's going to be a tough place mentally.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna burn out fast.
Yes.
Most definitely.
Like
most
really
definitely.
quickly.
Most
Like
definitely.
honestly, now that I'm a little bit, even now that I'm a little bit older,
Yeah.
I'm like, let me hustle and figure out a plan. Because when my kids are like in elementary school, middle school, the last thing I want is for them to know me as, oh, my mom was never home. Like she was working. Like
That
how much
too.
more we gotta work?
That
Like
too.
work,
That
work, work.
too.
If you work too much, listen. If you drop dead today, the job is gonna have your position filled yesterday. It's not like seriously.
They have a waiting
That's
list
facts. That is facts.
for a reason.
That is facts.
I don't think people understand that.
That is
Like,
facts. Yeah, you gotta. It's man. That's really something that I applied to my life. Like just trying to find a balance with everything. Because, like you said, something happened to you today. You get injured or whatever the case may be. They could just easily be like, all right, thank you for your time. Thank you for your hard labor. Next caller. Simple
Right.
as that. And then now, there you go, having to recover from your injury and having to find a whole new job while trying to figure out how them bills gonna be paid. So why not just enjoy the life that you've been working so hard to maintain? Find your balance.
Enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Amen. Amen.
That's so
Find your
true.
balance.
That's
Literally, find your balance.
see, now I had a story time that just came to my head because a few years ago I was working at this job for a very well-known cellular company. Not gonna say no names,
Not the shade.
but yeah, one of my coworkers we work in a call center,
Yeah.
and he fainted, like he passed out.
Oh.
And they took him into another room. While he was on the floor unconscious, we got managers talking about, oh, did you clock him out? Did you clock him out? Does he have a pulse?
Oh my God.
And we worried about clocking somebody. Does the man have a pulse? Is he still here? Is the heart still pumping?
Did you?
And y'all worried about clocking him out?
That's wrong. That's so wrong.
Maybe it's just our generation, but
Wow.
people in their 20s and their late teens, some of these jobs that I feel like, and that's maybe like an older way of thinking too.
Hmm.
Like, look at
Nah,
these jobs.
personally, that's nah, that's ridiculous. But like you said, I feel like that is probably like the older generation of, because when you think of their generation compared to ours, now now you see where, as young people, we take trips, we do this, we do that. Okay, after work, oh, let's go bowling, let's go get a drink, something like that. Our parents would never do that. They coming home to get ready for tomorrow.
Literally.
They're not gonna do all that other in between activities where, I don't see it as nothing wrong. We don't see it nothing wrong. We see it as like, like fellowship, little activities. You hit up your little friends. You have a good time. You enjoy the company of the people that you love and care about, which is right. But them can't talk to you. I got work in the morning. I ain't going nowhere. I got work in the morning, and that's where I'm not trying to be. I don't want to be under that same cycle, like trying to break all of those. Trying to break all of those.
Heavy on the I don't, because like you said earlier, you can burn out really quickly, like really quickly. I personally, I don't know when I turned this like workaholic, but I'm starting to see it. Like I'm like, I work every single day. Sundays now, I give that to, the good Lord.
Amen.
I have to give that to him. But at the end of the day, I'm tired and I'm getting ready to go to work. Like.
Do you work 7 days a week?
Girl.
We're going to need to pray for us.
Basically, I have 2 jobs. And it's like the balance between the two is almost non-existent. Like, just recently I started, realizing if I really feel like I can't make it to work, hey, yeah, it's me. I'm not gonna be able to make it because I'm tired. Like, and when my parents would hear me call out of work, why are you calling? I'm tired. Tired from what? What do you mean? Like the 2 jobs that I worked, I'm tired from that.
You let them hear you.
That's another thing.
Listen, let them hear
you.
You better take the call outside.
Either way, because they feel like, Caribbean parents, when you still stay in their house, they have this certain entitlement. Like, they want to know what's going on with your money, what's going on with your time. They want to know who you hanging out with, when you are hanging out with people. And it's like... That's what another thing that drives me crazy, because I'm sitting here trying to make the money so I could save the money so that I could get a place of my own. But whilst I'm doing that, I'm in my people's house, and they just all up on my back. And if they see me slip up just a little bit, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing? And that's another thing that can contribute to you burning out quickly. Like that weight, nobody really talks about that, but that weight that sits on you, like when you're still trying to get your stuff together within the place that you can't even no more. You outgrew that place. You're ready to go.
Yeah.
Let's touch on that, because
ready to go.
I mean, I think we have 2 different personal views here, because of course you still live with your parents. I don't live with my parents anymore, and that is one of the reasons why I had to pack it up. And I love them so much, just in case y'all wondering, don't play. I love my parents to death. I would die for them, maybe. But literally, like, sometimes it's hard to grow in an environment that has shaped your current growth already. You know what I mean? And like, there's so many benefits with living with your parents. Like sometimes I be coming home, I'm tired from a long day at work, ain't no food, and I'm like, oh, so I have to cook it. And I'm like, oh gosh, not this. You know what? Let me just go order some food. But like, what you said, entitled to your money,
yeah.
I hope you are enjoying this week's video. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any new uploads. Now back to the episode.
I don't know how many Caribbean parents, really act like this, but I want to say the vast majority, because I've talked to other people. But I'm just saying, like, it may not be like all up in your room, all up in your face, but like certain little comments like, oh, so when you gonna go do this, and when you gonna do that? Like, who told you I was gonna do that? Like, that's what you want me to do? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't say that to you. I said, this is what I'm gonna do. You just don't like it, so now you want me to do something else, and now you have an attitude with me and kind of getting on my case.
And that's another thing too.
I can't do that.
That's another thing.
Like,
yeah.
If I make my decision, that's my decision, and you keep telling me I'm of age for this, but then I'm not of age for something else. Yeah. You a child, stay in a child's place, but then again, where's the money for the bills? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Pick one.
Pick one.
Come on,
Today.
like
Yeah.
you think I'm a child or an adult? Which one is it?
And I think, like, referring back to what you said with the difference between, I guess you could say, a generation, right? That's one of the main things, is where how we might view something and how we might go about something. And technically, in the book, it might not be wrong. It is not wrong. Not even might not. It's not wrong of how you do it. I feel like there's different paths to doing something as long as you get it done. But in their eyes, it's only one way. One. And if you're not doing it their way, then it's wrong. If you're not doing it their way, then you're disrespectful. There's just so many that goes along with it, and the list continues. But it's like, that's also another thing where we have to, like, kind of fight and being individuals that's trying to get to where we want to go as young adults, you know? So it's a lot of different impact that comes with, you know, still living under your people's roof, because I do, and it's different stuff that I have to deal with while trying to get to where I want to go. So
Yeah.
this is one of those things.
We don't really talk about that often, but there's a price to peace sometimes. Like, honestly, I would say this. I mean, I've been saying, like, okay, I want to move out since I was like 16, y'all. Like, since I was 16, I was like, okay, I always pictured myself. Okay, so when I was younger, I used to read, like, a lot of, you know, books with the black successful lady. She got her own place, she got her own everything. And I used to be like, oh my gosh, like, I used to really just marinate on that vision.
Yeah.
And now that I feel like I have a few of those things ticked off, I'm like, oh, this is the cost. Oh, this is the cost. You're not eating out every night no more.
Yeah.
You're not doing I used to eat steak every Friday. And today I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to make a home cooked meal. Like, that's not what it is anymore. But when we say the price of peace, when you don't have, I'm not going to lie. And like I said, like, I love my parents. But when you don't have no one to say, oh, you need to go and do this, you need to go and do that, and you just open your eyes on a Sunday, and it's quiet.
But I feel like,
you can't buy it.
you know what's funny too? That's another question we gotta ask ourselves as individuals. What would you do for your peace? Like, most times you might get comfortable in certain situations because, you know, you're comfortable. It's not too hard. It's not stressing you out. But then again, you know, it's dealable. But it's not always going to be on the same surface level. So what would you do for your peace? That's a question we definitely got to ask ourselves. What would you do for your peace?
Yeah, that's something to think about. That's something to really think about. But I always tell people, like, if you can comfortably stay at your parents' house and grow, like, stay. Like, there's really no rush.
Yeah.
Like, there's really no... What you rushing for? You gonna pay a mortgage? You gonna pay bills? Like, you gonna pay rent? And then when you... And it almost seems like when you start to pay rent, it's like, when do you have time to do other stuff?
And rent is at a...
Increase is crazy.
Yeah.
When I seen that increase this year, I say, what? This is a gated community, and that gate been broken since February.
It's not gated.
So what's gated? The gate doesn't work.
Gosh.
Why is the downstairs basement? Because if we're gonna raise the rent, let's raise the quality.
That's true.
Make
true.
it worth something.
That's true.
Like, if it's this, make it worth that. Like,
Yeah, it's never.
I've looked at
it's
some
never equal
places and
balance.
I'm like, okay, so it's a 1-bedroom for one person. What's wrong with the walls? Like, what's up with the comments, the reviews saying that y'all got roaches?
That's the worst.
I'm not. And then for 2000,
Yeah, 2000 is. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not saying I live in Beverly Hills, y'all, because I definitely live in Beverly Hood, but it's a nice hood, with the Jewish people. But yeah, I never seen a roach in that apartment. I never seen one. And when you drive around the neighborhood, you be like, wait a second.
Yeah.
I remember I put it on my story. I don't know if y'all saw it, where someone was shooting.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Really? There was one where they was yelling out. He was yelling at his girlfriend like at 11 o'clock at night. But y'all don't got no roaches in here, and it's clean in the apartment, so I'll take it. But
see, That's yeah. You gotta have like a deal breaker
Yeah.
coming in because you're not gonna get everything you want for the price that you wanted. You're not. Like you're gonna have to sacrifice something. And that's how I feel. Like when you're looking for places to stay, you gotta sacrifice something. Now, yeah, that kitchen look nice, but that bathroom don't. Well, DIY.
You gotta
I'll
choose.
fix
Yeah.
it up or something. Like if you want that bad, then you fix it. Like because these people not gonna fix it
That's
unless
true.
you the
You got it like that. You got
all
it like that.
right.
But
Squeeze them or
that's what life
something.
though. That's I know we talking about like just apartments and the different, but that's really you can put that perspective into life. A lot of different things is gonna come across our path where, oh, I like this. Okay, I want to pursue this, but if I do pursue this, then this is gonna be a little shaky, and that is gonna be a little shaky, and this is gonna be unstable. So it's really,
Are you willing to
or
deal
you,
with that?
yeah. So I don't know, like man,
We
adulting
don't
is
talk about that
crazy.
enough.
Oh, we don't.
We don't talk about that
Yeah.
enough.
There's a lot of things we don't talk about a lot enough, and I feel like that's where people either walk into blind or they just never get to that place where they feel they can just openly, you know, openly like be themselves
Yeah,
because
like to talk about it because they feel like they're
you kind of
alone.
I think so many people can relate to that though. Like you said,
Mhm.
if you're pursuing something, just prepare that something else might not be the way
That's
you
true.
want it to be.
it's true.
Like if you're in school full time, just know you probably may not have a lot of free time to go out with your friends all the time because you're focused. If you're working like let's say 2 jobs,
Yeah,
just know you're gonna be losing some sleep. And you're gonna be tired.
Absolutely.
yeah.
And just know if you live
Absolutely.
by yourself, you gonna be paying bills. And when the
Yep,
light bill
nobody's
is due,
helping you.
Alone.
that's it. Nobody's helping
Better
you.
get some candles and light around the
That's
house.
really what it is. You got all this responsibility that
Yeah.
you have to take care of.
Yeah,
It's kind of like, unfortunately, when you're in your 20s and you trying to figure stuff out,
Yeah.
it's kind of like pick your struggle.
that. Oh,
For sure.
amen. Come on now. That's
Pick your
For
struggle.
that's
Sure.
definitely what it
They made
is.
the best struggle win.
Yeah. Like if you have a strength in that struggle, like you could make it work some way somehow,
Yeah.
then okay. But yeah, you just gonna have to pick something.
Yeah,
Pick something.
and it's like one thing I come to realize as well. Like obviously, everyone have different paths, right? But then it also gets beneath the surface. We have the surface things where social life, your mental, your physical, health, everything that falls under being a individual human being. But once you get to certain levels of different things and different levels of life itself, then it starts to peek out the beneath the surface things, right? Like you said, once you start working them 2 jobs, that's less times with your friends. Once you start working them 2 jobs, that's less eating around the dinner table with your family members. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you might come across these situations where you're doing what you can to get to where you want to, but you're also losing.
Yeah.
You're also losing, and it might seems like rough, like oh man, that was a great friend of mine. We've been cool since back in the day, but now because y'all not able to hang out or communicate as like y'all would want to because you're working the 2 jobs and being a responsible adult, it's like, oh, you don't want to talk to me no more. You don't want to do this. And like I said, these are conversations that people do not have.
Yeah.
And that's why you got relationships fall apart. You got friendships fall
True.
apart. You got family members hating on you because they think you all that.
Talk about it. I get so much phone call. You think you better than me? Like, no, I'm
trying to survive.
scratching for life right now. Like, I'm trying to breathe.
Yeah.
Relax.
But I don't know. It's just so much to it where it's really, once you think about it, it opens your mind to like the different levels of things. Like things are not, you can't expect that things are going to be the same ever.
Yeah.
Just because you get into a routine, don't mean that routine going to always be that way forever.
Yeah.
So be open mind to, you and your friends hanging out once a week instead of 3 times a week. You know what I mean? Like everyone is on their different paths, and just like how we're all on different paths, it takes different time to get where we want to. So some people might be working 2 jobs. Some might be working one. Some might be working and going to school. Some might not be working, just being full time in school. But we're all working towards getting something. So
True.
don't make it feel like,
Don't take
oh,
it
you a
personal.
bad. Don't take it personal. But also like try to communicate that. But I feel like we don't communicate no more.
Yeah, communication
Or
is a big thing.
if we ever did, like people just don't communicate no more. They just feel like they'll assume what it is and just run with it. I'm like, I don't see how it works like that. If you say you care about me, right? Wouldn't you do your best to communicate? Let me know. Let me feel like, okay, all right, I understand. You know what I mean? So I don't know. There's different levels to it.
That's the most important thing, though. Like telling someone, okay, hey, I'm gonna be working, I'm gonna be doing this, and
Hmm.
like I understand, like we all have our own lives,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
and I really enjoy my friends. So when they be having their own life, I'd be like,
yeah.
it's just me and the dog today. But I really be like, everybody has their own life. My friend is
Yeah.
in school. One of my
Mhm.
friends has a baby. One of my other friends, he works. He has a girlfriend. One of my other friends, she's lives in a different part of the state.
Yeah.
Like everybody's in these own, these
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
places in life.
Yeah.
But it is important to communicate with the people who are in your circles,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
goes for especially people in our age group. Cause we quick to just assume, oh, she feel away, and now we not talking. Whole meantime, her dog died, and now
She
you
not
feel away, but
okay.
the girl dog died.
It-
She didn't want to talk to no one because she was sad. Granted, she could have said that,
She could have said,
but
yeah.
it's important to just be like, hey, what's up? You good? You never know.
It'd be the simplest things though, like just as a delivery of a message, like, hey, like you said, this is what's going on right now. This is what my schedule or my days are going to be looking like. So if you do not hear from me for 2 weeks, don't hate me. Like, don't be upset with me. You know what I mean? But we also, even from that standpoint, because even myself, there's times where I get busy and I feel like I don't talk to certain people, or will be a period of times where I don't talk to certain people. But that's why I try to reach out. Like, people go through their different situations, and as a human being, I go through my different situations too. So I'm not going to expect that we all up, because I won't be up all the times, and I'm not going to expect somebody else going to be up all the times. But
Right.
trying to find that balance of like, okay, work, school, different things, different activities, and like, okay, let me see how this person's doing. How you doing? You know what I mean? And you'll be surprised that one text or one phone call can change the whole situation that individual is going through. You could probably might save a life.
So in our 20s,
Hmm.
what from all of us, I'm gonna go last, but what is one word of advice that we can give our 20 somethings?
Oh, females first. Go ahead.
That's a really good question. Um, I would probably say like the best word of advice or a little tip, you know, would probably be try to try to know you first, like to know what you want,
Hmm.
to know what you don't want, because it's easier sometimes for me to tell you what I don't want than what I want. Just know yourself first before someone else comes to try to tell you
What is?
what you want and what you don't want, or you see them living a certain life, so you try to, okay, so they don't like this and I don't like, okay, I I do like that, but okay, like just try to have a sense of self before anything, because this is like the foundation. You thought
Yeah.
12 and 9 and 16 was it? No, like your 20s is where you make it or break it. Like this sets the tone for the rest of your life.
Hmm.
Like the way you do things, the way you operate is going to be who you are as an individual, especially right now. Like don't mirror anybody, don't watch anybody from what they're doing or what tactics work for them. It may not work for you. My mom always says puss and dog don't have the same luck. It means you and that person may not have the same luck. Like,
Oh man. Facts.
they may be a scammer and it's working for them, and you just do it the one time and now you behind bars. Like, just do what works for you. Like just continue to stay true to yourself,
Yeah.
because that's the most important thing right now in your 20s.
That is true. I agree with that. I agree with that. Um, mm, I feel like it's a lot of different things that could be said, but mainly I feel like It's I don't know. I feel like you have to make sure that you're good. Um, and it's easier said than done. To some people, might feel as like you're being selfish or however they might take it. But in order for me to check on you, in order for me to do for you what you need to be done, in order for me to encourage you, uplift you, be a shoulder that you could cry on, I have to be in the right place. I
Yeah,
have to be
for
okay.
sure.
I can't. I mean, broken can't really help broken. I could probably say a bunch of words and make it sound nice, but really and truly, broken cannot help broken. And that goes for all relationships, honestly. Friendships, intimate relationships, family. So make sure you're in a spot or position where you're good, and then you can maneuver towards, helping another person or, you know, being there for other people. That's the best thing I could say for that. In your 20s. Go ahead.
I love that. I would say, hmm, doo, doo, doo. I would say take your time. Take your time. Like, take your time. And that sounds so crazy to say. I'm saying it aloud and I'm absorbing it as
Yeah.
I'm saying it.
'Cause
Take your time. Like, I don't want to say go like a turtle, like just be lollygagging, doing nothing out here in these streets.
find your
But
pace.
like, take your time.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. Like,
Find your
find your
pace.
pace.
Yeah.
Pace yourself. Whatever you're doing, if you're doing something and you believe in what you're doing, stick with it. Take your time. Be consistent. Be persistent, and just move forward with what you're doing. Don't feel like you need to rush. Just take your time. Everyone is in their own race, and that's really what it is. And if you ever feel like your grass is not as green as someone else's, water yours.
Take
you'll
care of
be good.
yours. Yeah. Put a little soil on there too.
That's it.
Yeah, that's true.
Big yellow.
Thank you guys so much for coming on.
problem,
I
no
really
problem.
appreciate you guys. Would you guys like to share your socials?
Do I remember mine out of my head?
Okay, guys. So I am Life with Bex __ on Instagram. I also have a YouTube channel. Please subscribe on Life with Bex. I also have TikTok, Life with Bex _ _
On all
and
platforms.
I would say on
So
all
please just
platforms,
say-
but yeah, those are the only ones I'm gonna. So Life with Bex _ on all platforms.
So mine is James Dyer, my name, JamesDyer _20 on Instagram. That's about it. I don't
Can I
really
get the people that in the TikTok?
I don't really use that like that. That's just for entertainment purposes only. But, on the other side, yeah, Instagram is the main thing.
That is too funny.
That was-
Well, you guys know where to find us at the Something Else podcast
Yeah.
on all streaming platforms. And we will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.